Spike Lee, everybody, all the fans courtside, they love it. The Knicks get their first victory of the season at MSG. Double overtime, Julius Randle with 35, Fournier with 32. Then you see Jaylen Brown leading the way with 46, Tatum chipping in with 20. LeBron, what you got to say? I seen you was on Twitter. What you talking about? This game was wild. The Garden rocking. No way anybody going to be able to get out the bed tomorrow, though. Burnt toast. Grant, you can relate after those long OT games, can't you?
I can't get out of the bed now. So, yeah, I can definitely relate.
Oh, man. Shouts out to the King. Always paying attention. Seems to watch every basketball game. But looking at this New York Knicks team, obviously this is a huge win for them. And Sean, you spoke about it, having everybody back in the Garden, having the electricity, the celebrities courtside. This is obviously a big win. And seeing the way their season ended, it's a good way to start their season this year.
Well, the key for the Knicks is, last year they snuck up on everyone. By surprise, it was great, get the Garden back and everything. Now people know what it's like to go against a Tom Thibodeau coach team, a team that has a purpose, because for 20 years or something? I know Carmelo Anthony, when he was there, they had a couple good seasons, but they never really got any traction. So now you don't want to take a step back. You don't want to go into this season and be trapped in 10th place. Now, I know the East is competitive, but that can happen. That can happen because there's so many teams on the upswing. If you're the Knicks, you got that crowd back last year. You want to keep that crowd. You want to keep that atmosphere that has really been missing in that building for so long. You got to win games like this against an opponent like that.
Well, let's take a listen. Julius Randle post-game, he caught up with Lisa Salters.
Julius, I'm going to start with you. It looks like you guys we're just running on fumes. How tired are you right now?
I can't wait to go home and lay in the bed, I swear. I don't even know if I'm hungry enough to eat. I'm so tired to play. I don't know what I played, but first game back, goodness, I'm tired. But we got it done. We got it done.
What were you guys saying to each other about just finishing this?
Just win the game. Like, every time before we go out, Coach always puts on the board, find a way to win. They talk about preseason and, let's take a preseason serious. This is why we take it serious. So early in the season, we can win games like this. So found a way to win. Evan came up huge, hit big shots. Everybody made big plays. Derek made big plays, and, we got it done.
I was going to say, describe the impact that this guy had in his Knicks regular season debut.
Overtime, he took over. He got hot. My thing was, I saw he had it rolling. I picked my spots, but, I'm going to try to find him and get as many shots for him as possible. He did a good job of stepping up and knocking them down.
Thanks for your time.
Appreciate it.
Evan, how are you feeling right now? How the legs? How the lungs?
I'm just very happy, for first one at home. There's a lot to win, and, I think about all the work we did during the preseason, doing all the extra conditioning and stuff, because, towards the end, it was really about just mental.
Just what really felt right for you? What started clicking for you?
To be honest, just trying to make the right play. I mean, they gave up some shots early. I had to just be aggressive, be myself, and, help Ju out. He brings so much attention that, I have to work a two-man game with him, learn how to play with him, and, just try to help him out.
This was your Knicks regular season debut. How did the energy, the emotion in the building feel to you?
It was incredible. To be honest, even during preseason, I asked, my teammates if the energy was just crazy for a preseason game, and they say no, it's just a normal thing in New York. So the energy in this building, I can feed off from it, and I mean, I'm loving it.
Certainly did feed off of it. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you very much.
Mike.
Thank you, Lisa. Ooh, bogey. That game, no. Fournier on fire. Gotta love that. The Atlanta Hawk.
Hey. I like how Bogey's at home getting his rest. That's the sign of a professional right there. Objectively speaking.
No question, objectively speaking, the New York Knicks, the double overtime victory. Grant, and I'm putting you on the spot here, can you actually remember the longest game that you ever played in your career?
I can't. I have a feeling you might know it.
No.
I don't.
I'm just
really
putting
don't.
you on. I don't know.
I think I've had a double overtime game before. I can't recall when or
specifically
where.
when. Yeah, but just going back to how you were feeling, and we heard the guys talking about it. Obviously, LeBron pointed it out in the tweet how exhausted you are after games like that and expending so much energy. But probably feels better if you get the victory.
You know, I was going to say the same. Yes, when you get the victory, you feel better. And particularly, you heard Julius Randle talk about that. You see how Julius Randle plays. I mean, he plays hard. He's putting the ball, like he's working hard for every point. You know, some guys score effortlessly. I mean, look at a guy like a Kevin Durant. But Julius Randle, I feel, puts so much into every basket, putting the ball on the floor, getting to the basket, being physical. Obviously, the demands from Tibbs on the defensive end, how they play blue-collar desperate. Yes, you know, it's tiring, but it's also being the top guy. It takes a certain level of stamina to do that. And Randall's becoming that. He did that last year, and he's continuing this year with that role for this team.
The New York Knicks right now, you have Julius Randle, Evan Fournier, both with 30 points. The first time a Knicks duo has gone for over 30 in a season debut at MSG. A nice 1-2 combination there. And we saw in the playoffs, there were times where the Knicks maybe struggled to be able to go get a bucket. Fournier perhaps could be that answer the way he played tonight.
Well, when he first came to the Knicks, he really struggled. I mean, this was a very good game for him, a good outlook for him. And also, Julius Randle struggled in the playoffs, too. So they need to see this from these two players. Yes, it's early, and we've got a long way to go. They're not even guaranteed to make the playoffs, but if they get there, they need to know if they get the ball to Julius Randle, he's not going to struggle anymore. He's going to take those bully ball shots. And also for Fournier, if he's open on a perimeter, he can knock down those threes like he did tonight.
Now I'm looking at the box score right now. Obviously, we've all talked about Julius Randle. We talked about everything going well for the Knicks. Kemba Walker finishes the game, 36 minutes, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. People are still wanting to see the Kemba, the all-star caliber Kemba player. Grant, just looking at him, obviously he had some problems with injuries last season. What do you think Kemba has left? Is he still going to be able to have those moments and have those big scoring performances?
Well, you know, last year, once he got healthy, he had some moments. But the question you have is for a guy like him, does he, you know, as a result of the surgery and the injuries, does he still have that burst? Does he still have that next gear? You know, I think what made him so great is his speed and quickness with the ball, his ability to stop on a dime. He was shifty. And that's what you always worry about, particularly with small guys who rely on their athleticism. And so, you know, you give him a little bit of a pass tonight. There's not an expectation that he has to come in and be, you know, everything in that first game. But you need that level of play from him, and you need it on a consistent basis. You know, we talked about last year, Derrick Rose was really the only consistent scorer who could go get a basket in the postseason. Randle struggled. I envision that Randle will continue to be better this year, and if they make it to the postseason, Fournier is a guy who can score for you, but you're going to need Walker, a guy who's essentially saying, I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there with this team. Yeah, it's a distraction, but also it can also get these guys to really maybe bond and come together even more so. So I don't expect things to change that much for this ball club. I think they're going to win a majority of their games. They're going to miss the defense, the ball handling, the ability in the open court of a Ben Simmons. But the rest of it, like, this is a good, you saw the balance out there. I mean, it's, you know, Embiid, I mean, we know he can put up gaudy numbers, but when you have a game like this where everybody's contributing, he's not going to do that. He's going to just, you know, everyone else is playing good basketball, everyone's contributing. I think that mindset at times this season will help them later when you need those guys to make plays in the postseason.
Real quick, ceiling for this team. We know that they were number one in the regular season last year. Ceiling without Ben Simmons is currently constructed for the Philadelphia 76ers.
I mean, everyone's talking about Milwaukee, people are talking about Brooklyn, rightfully so, but I think, you know, I still think you have to have Philly as one of the top upper echelon, a potential team that can represent the East. I know there's a lot of noise, a lot of distractions. We have to assume that will be resolved at some point here, you know, before the end of the season. But the talent, the shooting, the experience, the defense, the coaching, I mean, everything, you check the box, and this team is capable. And, you know, but we have to see the Ben Simmons thing, you know, ultimately get settled before we can, you know, we can be 100% accurate.
Right. So as currently constructed, a top four seed in the East. Sean, your thoughts?
Well, you have to factor in Miami. We haven't seen them yet, so they'll be right there. The Hawks, Grant Hill, of course,
You
the
said it,
Hawks
not
will
me.
be there. Okay. So they'll be in the mix. Boston, of course. I think Philadelphia, I think I agree with Grant. The basics are there. And we still don't know how the Ben Simmons situation will maybe even improve the Sixers even more. Maybe they get a player in return, that sort of missing piece, that sort of missing component that they need, they can throw in there. They may suffer a little bit defensively if they lose Ben Simmons, but what can they gain? So we really don't know the Sixers yet, but I like the basics. I like Joel Embiid. I like where this team is potentially heading.
Still a playoff team, essentially, though, when you look at it at the end of the day, whether Ben Simmons is there or not.
Yeah.
So that there's still a lot of questions. In fact, a lot more questions than answers when it comes to the Sixers. Got a lot of things going on tonight. The T-Wolves, they have the answers tonight. They are handling the business all over the Houston Rockets. They get the victory 124-106. Karl Anthony Towns, you see Ant-Man there as well. D. Russell. These guys played 8 games together last season. Hopefully they can stay healthy and Minnesota can check these guys out more.